This video is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Stay tuned to hear more.
Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Tiffany and today I'm bringing to you guys my first ever crochet tutorial. I think I've made like very mini versions of tutorials hidden in my very long artist diary vlogs, but this is going to be the first one ever where I am just completely showing you guys how to make something from start to finish. I'm going to try to make this as beginner friendly as possible while also writing out the full pattern so if that you are more advanced you can just like look at it and you don't have to listen to me talk the whole time. I'll have the full pattern at the end of the video. We are making this knot pillow, or not this specific one, we are making a mini version, but if you wanted to make the pattern bigger, it's basically the same thing. I made this a while ago, I think on this channel. It's a knot pillow. What is a knot pillow? Well, it unties. I don't really know what you'd want to do with this, but you could probably figure out a place to put it in your house. I like the mini versions. I like to call them like desk pillows because I think they're really cute to put on your desk. And I've sold one mini pillow on my website. I've been making them in combination with my I Hate All of My Yarn episodes, which if you guys have been keeping up with those, they're all on my YouTube shorts and also on TikTok. And if you guys don't follow me on TikTok, you really should, because that is where I've been documenting using up all of my yarn, which has been a really big struggle and challenge for me of 2025. All of 2025, I've just been trying to use up stuff. Makeup, yarn, lip gloss, just like so much stuff. I'm trying to project pan my whole life. I want to preface by saying that I've never made a crochet tutorial before, so I'm going to try really hard, but if you guys are at any point lost, the good thing about crocheting is that there are so many resources online. If you don't know how to do a stitch and I'm not showing you well enough, or you're just not getting it the first time, feel free to go and find other videos that show you how to do like a half double crochet, the magic circle. I'm gonna again try to make this as beginner friendly as possible, but everyone starts on a different level, so I feel like this is a very beginner friendly project. The hardest part is the beginning, and then once you get my mini moss ball. This is my moss ball. Some of them are sitting on this desk, but I feel, oh wow, that really jostled it. Once you like get to the main part of the pillow though, like starting it in the beginning can be a little bit challenging with the circle, but once you get to this part, the whole entire thing is entirely repetitive. I feel like it's really not too challenging. This is so satisfying. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it, and let me know if you guys like these kinds of videos, because I'm thinking of new ideas for future videos, and I'll make pretty much whatever you guys want to see. I've gotten my bin of all of my yarn that we were messing with last time in the last video. I'm gonna be using up, I think, this color, or trying to at least, and then one more color. So this can be like a checkerboard pattern. Okay, so I think I will be using this ball of yarn, which I actually have two of, kind of, but I haven't had a use for this, and I'm gonna be making a checkerboard pattern again. So this one, as you can see, is a checkerboard. You could do this with different colors too, and I'll show you how to attach colors together, but I honestly feel like just doing it with checkerboard, it's definitely the easiest color scheme. These are colors that we're using. This is a Yarn Bee Simply Flawless. I think I've barely even touched this one, and then this one I did make into a hat at one point, but then I frogged it because I didn't like it. If you guys are keeping track with my I Hate All of My Yarn series, this is what these look like in the beginning, and let's go ahead and get into it. So I'm gonna be doing a checkerboard pattern, and if you use two different colors, then you will basically be doing a checkerboard as well, and then a crochet hook. I guess you need a pair of scissors at some point, but that's pretty much all the materials that you need. So I want to talk a little bit about hook size before we start. I guess this one has info on it. This is the hook info if you want to read it. I don't know if this is the best advice to give, but I don't really ever follow this when it comes to crocheting. And if you want your stitches tighter, then you can size down on your hooks. This one says to use a 3mm hook, which you can tell because it says it right here. I'm going to be using this 2.5mm hook. So to start, you're going to pick one of your colors. Whichever color you pick is going to be the color of the base of your circle. And so we're going to start by doing a magic ring. If you don't know how to do that, you can look up more in-depth videos. I'm going to show you how I do it. So I'm going to start by taking the tail and my two fingers like this. I'm going to hold it with my thumb and my two fingers like this. You're going to cross it over your fingers diagonally, move it down here, and then cross it again. And then I'm going to take these fingers just to hold it. And so you have an X
where the top yarn is going over, you're gonna take your hook and go under the first part of the X, and then you're gonna grab this part of the X and bring it over like that. Take this yarn, so you're gonna go under like this, and then you're gonna pull that yarn through the loop you just made. And then that is how you make your magic circle. So once you take it off, you wanna make sure your little tail is going this way. I like to do 2 loops on my pinky like that, and then over my top finger. And then that's how I hold it. But I know people do it differently, so just whatever makes you feel comfortable.
Also, real quick, I'd like to give a quick word to today's sponsor, which is Squarespace. Thank you so much to Squarespace, because without them, I could not have made art my entire career, honestly. If you guys don't know about Squarespace, they're the perfect website building platform. My website currently looks a little bit like this, and I was able to make it thanks to Squarespace's amazing templates, which makes it so easy for you to make your own website, but it also is super customizable, so it doesn't look like you made your website off a template, if you know what I mean. They also have amazing commerce tools, and it is how I sell all of my artwork online. And if you guys are interested, I will have everything linked down in the description box. I have a lot of crochet stuff on my website too, and they make it super easy for me to switch out new things on my website. So if I want to upload a new product, I just click a few buttons and it's just done, which is so nice because I am not great with technology, but Squarespace makes it so easy. They have great commerce tools, and their SEO tools help you get discovered online, and I seriously just love them. I feel like they're the perfect platform for you to build your own website. So if you guys want to try them out, and I highly recommend that you do, you can head to squarespace.com/TiffanyWeng, and you can use the code TiffanyWeng for discount off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you so much again to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. And now let's get back into the tutorial, because I am getting hooked on how satisfying this is.
First, we're gonna do 1 chain. So 1 chain, and then how to do a half double crochet. You're gonna be working right here with these 2. So you're going to yarn over, and then go into your circle, grab your yarn back over, and then you're gonna yarn, grab your yarn and go through 2 loops. Actually, you're gonna go through all 3 of them. It's a half double crochet. Yeah. So do it again, yarn over, go under, grab the yarn, and then yarn over and go through all 3 loops. Yay! So how you count your stitches is right here on the top. So that was my 3rd one. 4, 5, 6. So if you didn't get it the first time, I'll try to show you again. You yarn over, and then you go into those 2 down here, and you grab the yarn and you bring it out. And then you grab the yarn again, and you go through all 3 of those loops. So this one's the 8th one, 9th one, and the 10th one. So we're gonna do 12 for the first row, and then once you get all 12, which you can count by the V's up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then that one was our chain. You're gonna go into our chain. So it's gonna look like this, the first V that you can see, the first completed one. I'm gonna go in there and then slip stitch. Once you slip stitch, you can pull on the tail to fully close up your circle. And now we're gonna chain 2. And we're gonna half double crochet increase on each of these. So you're gonna end up with 24 stitches. So to increase, you're going to go into the little V on the top, that's your stitch. You're going to do a half double crochet, beep, and then you're going to do another one. Instead of going into the next stitch, you're going to go into the stitch that you just went into, and then you're going to complete your half double crochet. So to show you again, on this stitch right here, we're going to do a half double. So you yarn over, you go in, and then you pull through all 3, and then you do it again on the same stitch. So normally you'd go to this one, but we're gonna do an increase, so we're gonna go to this one. There we go, so that's 2. And then you're gonna do this to each of the stitches, going across your circle. So that is the end of your increases right here. You can make sure you can find your first 2 chains right here, and then you can count the top ones. So your top stitches should be 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yay! So now I'm going to go into the second chain right here and slip stitch. And that is the base of your knot pillow. So this is the circle. It looks a little bit smaller than it's going to be because it's still being restricted by some of the stitches down here. But your next row, even though you're not going to increase, it might look a little bit bigger. So we're not going to increase anymore. We're just going to be doing some color changes, but we're going to start off with the white still. So this is going to be making the first square of your little tube. So we're going to do 2 chains to start again, and then we're going to do 6 of the half double crochets in each of the stitches. So we're not going to increase anymore. So you go into one, pull the yarn, and then go through all 3 like that, and then you're going to do that 6 times. So that was the first one, 2, 3, 4, 5. So your 6th stitch you're not going to complete because you're going to do a color change. So you're going to grab your yarn, go into the stitch, pull it out, and then leave it like this, and we're going to attach our next color. So here is our piece so far, and to do a color change, there's a couple different ways to do it. If you're going to do a checkerboard, then you don't have to cut off your first color. You can kind of just leave it hanging. The second yarn, I'm going to pass it under, and then I'm just going to do 3 knots. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm just gonna slide it all the way down to the center here. And then also, if you want it to be extra secure, you can take your first color and you can make a knot across the black color too. So this one can get kind of tricky, but if you make a knot like that, and then you slide it all the way down, that will make it super secure. But it looks like this, and when you pull, it'll just pull on each other. That's how you can do it if you want to be really secure. But you're gonna take the new color now. You can just kind of let the old one like hang from the back here, and then you're gonna grab the new color to finish your last half double crochet like that. And that is how you change colors. But now we're just gonna continue like normal, and you're gonna do 6 half double crochets with this color now. So over and then into the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and with the 6th one, you're not going to complete it, so you're going to leave the 3 loops on your hook like that, and you can just grab the last color from before, and you're going to use it to complete your stitch. So you're just going to grab it like this, and like that. And so it is going to be floating on the back here, you can see. This doesn't particularly bother me. It's going to be on the inside. We're just going to do the next 6 again. And again, for the 6th one, pull the yarn through, but don't complete it with the final one. You're going to complete it with your new color. And if you want to do like a patchwork one, then this is where you would be tying in different colors every single time, like when we first introduced this black brown color. But otherwise, if you're gonna do a checkerboard, you don't have to attach any more colors, and it's actually really relaxing and nice to not have to. I did a patchwork one before, and as fun as it was really stressful trying to manage all of the threads or the yarns, so I find it very nice that I don't have to do that right now. Now that we are at the 6th one, we are going to do it like normal, and instead of completing it, pretty much every time you're going to color switch, make sure you complete it with your correct next color. So this was the end of the first row, but we're going to go ahead and move on to the second row. So make sure to use the next color, which for me is white, and I'm going to complete my 6th stitch on my first row of half double crochets with that light color. Every time you finish a row, you're gonna slip stitch into the last row and then chain 2. So I'm gonna find my 2 chains, which are right here, 1 and 2. I'm gonna go into the second one, and then I'm gonna slip stitch, which looks like that. And then I'm gonna chain 2. I'm going to do 6 half double crochets again, and I'm gonna speed up a little bit here, but you can basically just watch the last row if you're still confused. And then I'm on my 6th stitch here, so I'm going to complete it with, I know it looks a little bit messy back here, but I'm gonna complete it with my dark color. And you can tell you're going to change your colors next, because when you look at your stitches down here, your next stitch that you're going into is going to be the color that you're changing into. When you do change your colors, you can see that your yarns are floating on the back here. You want to make sure not to pull on them too tightly, because then it's going to make your tube kind of collapse in on itself. So I'm going to do one more row of this color. So I'm going to change my colors. I'm going to slip stitch into the chains. I'm gonna chain 2, and then I'm gonna do the 6 half double crochets again. I'm gonna come back after I complete this row. And now that I have done 3 rows of half double crochets with all of the colors, this is what it is looking like. So for this last one, when you're on your 3rd row, you're not gonna color change when going into your next row like we have been before. We're gonna keep the same color because that's what's gonna get you the checkerboard effect, and basically you're gonna shift all of your colors over by 1. So I'm gonna do my 6th stitch here, and normally after you pull up this thread, this is where you would change colors to go onto your next row, but I'm going to complete it with this color, and you're basically going to shift all of your yarn over 1. I'm gonna slip stitch into the 2nd chain like I have been. I'm gonna chain 2, and then before we start crocheting, I want to be mindful of the next color we're gonna change into over here, and we've left it all the way over there, so I just want to anchor it really quickly. So you're gonna see that it's floating over there, and normally you would just naturally anchor it because you're changing colors, but when you're going onto a new row of completely different colors, you wanna make sure to anchor it. So I like to anchor it with my first half double crochet. So what that means is when I go to half double like this, and then you go in to grab your yarn, I also include this extra piece, and then I grab the yarn over both of those. Do you see that? So I can do that one more time. You're gonna take this yarn that's floating back there and push it against the walls in the inside, and then you're gonna go to do your half double, and you're gonna grab, push it through those 2. Make sure this floating yarn is on top of your hook, like that. If my camera would focus, this would be a great time to focus. And then you're going to grab your dark yarn over those 2, or whatever color you're working with, and then complete your half double crochet. And you only need to do that once here. You don't have to do that every time. This thing is bothering me, this like piece of fluff. So I'm just gonna rip it off. But then you go and you do your half doubles like always. So you're gonna do 6 of them, 6, and then you're gonna go and change colors like usual. So you're gonna complete your last stitch with the new color, and then you're going to continue on. And then if you are confused here, you're gonna basically just be doing the same thing you did last round, but instead you're just gonna have a different color pattern, and you're gonna do 3 rows of this color pattern before you color change again, like we did in the beginning of this row. And pretty much every 3 rows of half double crochets, you're going to shift your colors over by 1.
So at this point, my little tiny, it looks like a bean. It looks like this, and it's pretty small, but you just repeat the same pattern over and over again, and it's gonna get longer and longer. You can wait to stuff until the end, or you can stuff it all at once, and you can also practice like pulling on the sides a bit. This will help make sure that all of your floating yarn doesn't like catch each other, because if you get the tension wrong on these strands, then it's gonna start pulling your little tube together. So I would just make sure that when you are color switching that you're leaving enough space for all of your yarns. But yeah, I'm gonna be working on this for a bit now, and I will get back to you guys on how many rows I choose to do. But you can really do as many rows or as few as you want. If you don't want it to tie into a knot and you just want it to be like a little log, you can do that too. Or if you want to have it be super duper long and do like 6 knots or do something crazy with it, you can do that too. But basically, yeah, I'm gonna go through and do this. I'm gonna do 3 rows of each color pattern before I change. It's pretty quick to work through. You can just throw on like a TV show. I think in the span of me chatting with you guys right now and doing this little update, I have already completed 1 row. So yeah, we'll update you guys in a little bit. Right now it is 4:49. I'll come back in an hour and show you guys how much I've done.
Here is at 5 o'clock. I've made this much progress in like 10 minutes. It's pretty cute.
They found something out that they did not want to find out 2 years ago.
This is what it's looking like at 6:30. The sun is setting, so my lighting is going away. And so after a long time, you will probably get something like this. The length of how far you go is really up to you, but this is how long I've decided to go. I'm gonna go ahead and stuff this now, which honestly, I would recommend you do as you start crocheting, but I was lazy, so I waited until the very end. So, oh, my littlest pet shop. Stand back up, please. So now that we have it fully stuffed and it looks like this, and it's long enough to tie into a knot, once it is long enough to do that, or pretty much however long you want it to be, it is time to close it off. So once you've finished your final row, I'm going to be using the darker color to do the end, even though I use the lighter color on this end because I like the difference. But if you want to do the same one, you would switch to the color you want to use. We're just going to do half double crochet decreases all around the top. And we're going to start with 2 chains. We're going to yarn over, go into our first stitch, grab the yarn and pull it out. And then yarn over, go into the second stitch, grab the yarn and pull out. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on your hook. I can spread them out so that you can see them. You're gonna grab the yarn and you're gonna slide it through all 5 of these loops, which I know can be a little bit challenging, but you can do it. And then we're just gonna repeat that across your entire top row. There's a second one, a third one, and you keep going across the whole top row. So after all of that, it will look something like this. I typically like to cut off the light color here. I only have an X-Acto knife with me right now, but I'm going to tie the tail end of this, the light color, to the darker color, and I'm just gonna do a couple of double knots. This just makes sure that it's not gonna go anywhere, but typically it's pretty secure. And now continuing on to the second and last row of our decreases. So this is into the second chain of the last row, and then we're gonna slip stitch into it, chain 2. So just like the last row, we're going to half double decrease all the way around. So yarn over, insert into the first stitch, grab the yarn, pull it out of that stitch, yarn over, insert into the second stitch, grab the yarn, and pull it through all of those loops. Slip stitch into, if you can find it, which I'm having a hard time finding, slip stitch into your second chain. You can cut your yarn, which my yarn is doing weird things with my camera, but you can cut your yarn and don't cut it too short because you're going to feed it through all of the loops at the top. So I like to use my crochet hook for this, honestly, but just all of the loops that are left in the row, I go in and I pull the yarn through it all the way. And then this way you can just pull your yarn at the end to tighten everything up. And then once you pull it through all of those, you should be able to just pull on it And then I'm going to take my hook, feed it through the center, grab the yarn and pull it through, and then cut off the excess. And so now you are done with the crocheting part. The last step left is to just tie it into a knot. But look at it, it is so cute, I love it. And if you guys have any questions about how to make this, please let me know in the comments down below and I will try my best to answer everything.
And so congratulations, now you have officially learned how to crochet your very own knot pillow or your mini knot pillow. If you want to size it up, that is how you would get this. Or you could use chunkier yarn, or there's really a lot of ways to go about it. But if you guys have any questions about anything in this tutorial, let me know. And if you guys are keeping up with the yarn situation of I hate all of my yarn, you can follow me on TikTok there or check out my YouTube shorts. But high key, my TikTok videos are a lot more up to date than my YouTube ones. Also, if you guys want to purchase a knot pillow, I've been doing very minimal listings of them on my website. I'm only making one at a time. I am only going to make a new one with a new color scheme after the current one has sold, and I won't be making that color scheme again, so it is a one of one. That has been really exciting. I think so far I've sold like one. I don't expect them to be super popular, but if you guys want to help support me with using up all my yarn, and also you happen to want a knot pillow, that is probably the best way to go about it, because after I use up all my yarn and no longer have any yarn I hate, I don't know if I'll be making more of them for my website, so it's kind of a limited run for now. But yeah, I think it came out so cute and I'm so happy about it. And again, if you guys have any questions, just let me know in the comments down below. And that is pretty much everything. So stay hydrated, take a nap. I will see you guys when I see you guys. And thank you for watching me try to use up all my yarn. Bye everyone. Thank you for watching. Bye.